Hello everyone, my name is Bradley Cohen and I'm here to talk to you about the medical model versus the clinical model. Now, have you ever had a doctor for pain and been prescribed a medicine that didn't actually solve your problem? Of course you have, we all have. Now the medical model looks to solve pain by pills and prescription. The clinical model seeks to treat through therapy and equips you with the knowledge to keep treating on your own. Now, when you look at the true differences between a medical model, for example, going to the doctor to get quick and acute relief versus going to a clinician to learn how to better yourself, you will find that the long-term help of the latter is more likely to solve for your pain. Now, I have always been intrigued by the success in using medicine to treat for pain and going to a clinician. Perhaps it's from my own experiences being given medicine for a baseball injury as a quick and acute fix that didn't actually work, and then using physical therapy to later on find out that it works much better. And it has also provided me with the information to go home and do it on my own. It's very resourceful. Now I'm going to share with you the benefits from actual pain relief to financial relief on why you should look to the clinical model to solve for pain rather than the medical model. Now, following the clinical model saves you a ton of money, literally. Medicine doesn't always work or stay working. The clinical model allows you to help yourself. Now, that is very resourceful if you ask me. So as we look into these three main points, I hope that you will make a reflection on how you look and go forward with treatment in the future. Now, the clinical model removes the need to pay for prescriptions and medication. While both of these models have copays, there is a never need for a prescription when you have the clinical model. Now, if you look here at my visual aid, it states that, reported by the editorial staff of the Health and Wellness Alerts at berkeley.edu, which is a website, a 2011 Cochrane review examining various interventions found that spinal manipulation slightly improved chronic low back pain and disability in the short term. But the researchers reported that there was no evidence as to whether or not manipulation is better than other therapies, such as physical therapy, pain relief, medication, and exercise. So therefore, the clinical therapy would be much cheaper. Now, if you decide that the medicine doesn't work as intended, you must go back to the doctor, and that costs time and money. And in fact, the editorial staff has also reported from that same website at berkeley.edu that in 2013, a Cochrane review reported similar results for acute low back pain, and other evidence suggests spinal manipulation might help with conditions such as neck pain for chronic and acute, and headaches, including migraines, and shoulder pain. Now, this leads to additional copayments when you must return to your doctor because the medication simply doesn't work, and that is expensive, depending on which health insurance that you have provided to you. It also leads to additional prescription costs that you are hoping work. Now, there is a study that was reported by Abby Mueller and Hala Ahmed, who write for the Center for American Progress, which is a website. On August 30th of 2019, they have reported that a vial of insulin, which is the only life-sustaining option for type 1 diabetics, there is no other option, retails at around $300. That is per one vial of insulin. A 2018 study commissioned by the Congressional Diabetes Caucus found that the price of insulin has doubled since 2012. In the 10 years prior, the price of insulin nearly tripled. That's a huge number. Despite the dangers of insulin rationing, which can lead to diabetic ketoacidosis, a fatal condition, many Americans have no other choice. That was the case for Antoinetta, whose daughter was rationing insulin due to the high cost and ended up passing away at the age of 22 as a result. Now that should not be happening. Clinical therapy, with that, you are paying for a service instead of a good. Think of it as information versus prescription. Which would you take? Now, For doctors who prescribe a pill and do so as a quick fix and say that it should work, what I have to say to you is that I have found a review by Ruben Castaneda, a writer working for the U.S. News website, reported that in a study published in 2008 in the British Medical Journal, evaluated 183 patients with neck pain who were randomly assigned to receive treatment that involved other spinal manipulations, including physiotherapy, which is mainly exercise, or care from a general practitioner. The people in this study kept cost diaries for 1 year. The study found that spinal manipulation was more effective and less costly by a huge number. Now, the clinical model analyzes the actual problems that are occurring and offer a solution for chronic and acute relief. Now, does the medical model do that? I don't think so. Now, obviously, when we are in pain, we want to find a solution, but when we stop and think about which model can lead to begin pain-free, we want the one that can save money, right? By looking at the clinical model for more financially beneficial help. As I mentioned, the medicine doesn't always help. It's not a long-term solution. Now, Ruben Castaneda has also reported that in 2003, there was a research where researchers evaluated the chiropractic treatment experiences of 192 patients with back-related pain, chronic and acute varied, or sciatica, a condition in which a pinched nerve in the lower spine causes leg pain. The treatment they received for the pain was rated worthwhile by 87% of the participants. That's purely clinical. Now, many times the medical model leads only to a quick fix, relief in the moment. This means multiple trips back to the doctor to keep trying new drugs because the one that you have might not work, or you might build up a tolerance and you need a stronger one. So the medical model is newer, I'll give you that. Drug companies are part of an industrial revolution. They weren't always around. With all the big pharma companies vying for the use of their product, insurance company policies, and side effects, it becomes hard to trust the medicine. Who can you trust? Before the medical model had access to all the new drugs, doctors used the clinical model. It was all they had. Now, think about what doctors do before they had the drugs. They had to come up with something on their own. Okay, so I've talked about ways in which the medical model costs more and has concerning thoughts on whether it works or it doesn't. Let me now share with you the benefits of the clinical model, which does indeed show greater success. You can do it on your own. It's resourceful. And the clinical model gives you the tools to take home, and you can do it on your own. It's simply resourceful, saving you time and money, which in these times we all need to be saving. Now, the clinical model puts you in control of yourself. Now, you are part of the solution. However much effort you put into it is what you get out. You have to put in the work and the time to want to get better. That is the key point of the clinical model. Now, how you use these tools you've learned in the clinical model are to your disposal. And if you are really wanting relief and you are dependent on that you trust yourself rather than a pill, then you should be with me in choosing the clinical model. Now, when we think about the benefits and in the end our main objective is to find relief from that pain, whether it be acute or chronic, most of the time we're always thinking about financials. And for that answer, I would give you the clinical model. Now look, I'm not saying that people shouldn't go to a doctor, but when looking at pain, we want to find a solution, short-term or long-term, and one that doesn't break the bank, in a sense. And if you're like me, we don't want to put all our eggs in a could work and multiple drugs and appointments before an only short-term solution is found. And based on the clinical model's ability to find a root cause, offer a solution that puts us in control of our life. To help ourselves, it seems obvious that the model should be thought of when addressing pain. But to some, it's sort of hard to find that answer. So I'm here to tell you that the clinical model, especially in unprecedented times like we are in, the notion of needing to go to the doctor multiple times is a scary and sometimes anxiety-filled thought. Now, isn't something that puts us in control and offers us a better chance of success the way to go? It would be for me. I hope you'll think about it as I did too.